I started the Zoom. He's here. Hi everyone. Thanks for coming and welcome to another Persian Tech Network in October. I'm Ahmad Reza, part of Persian Tech Network and your host for tonight. Without any further ado, I'd like to invite the first startup, which is Value Aligner, and Hamid Shah is the CEO and the co-founder of the Value Aligner, will present his startup. Hamid Jan, please go ahead. And the first startup is online.
Okay. And can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hello, everyone. I'm Hamid. I'm the founder and CEO of Value Aligners. Thanks for your time for today to listen to me. Value Aligners revolutionize the cybersecurity market with our AI-driven pricing intelligence solution. We are addressing a critical gap where solution providers struggle to price their offering accurately and customer face challenges in finding the right cybersecurity tools. So the problem and the gap is in the ongoing cybersecurity market is that from the upstream side, from the developers and distributors, they do have the problem of overpricing or underpricing, and then they do have a struggle with finding the best value of their products, and customers face challenges in identifying suitable solutions. And also most of the problems is related to small to medium-sized businesses that they need to manage multiple cybersecurity products, which is around on average 35 cybersecurity products. And then they have issues in finding the gaps and finding the best solution with the best price possible. And then our AI-driven pricing and value services will be between upstream clients and downstream clients. And then for upstream clients, we try to provide the competitive price and elaborate the functionality of the products based on the variables and matrices that we define, which are the value matrices, which is more than just the price. And for the downstream clients, we help them to find the best solution and cut the middlemans in the market and find the best solution for the products which is aligned with their needs. So the cybersecurity market is a very growing industry, and like till 2032, the size of it will be almost twice, and the CAGR for this industry is like 14.3%. It's around like 10K cybersecurity providers currently working in US. And as you can see, lots of companies in the last year, they suffer from cybersecurity attacks, which increase the the attention of the providers in the market, and the companies, the users, the downstream users, they want to spend more on this market. From other side, the pricing tool CAGR is like 16%. It's also a growing industry, and based on AI tools and in different industry, we do have different competitors. Most of the competitions in pricing industry is in retail, manufacturing, distribution, and we don't have much competition in cybersecurity, which is kind of a good gap for us that we can step in. The only platform, the only company that we can see in this market is G2, which is SaaS, market kind of provider, which is not a pricing company. And then we do have a very experienced team, and most of us, we do have PhD, and we have industry backgrounds. And the business model is based on marketing channels, partnering with different side of the market, like distributors, developers, like consumers, software developers, and also we have different revenue models for the two sides of the market. For the upstream clients, we do have 4 different packages, which is in different packages, we do have different pricing tiers to enable them to find the value of their products and compare with their competitors. For downstream clients, for the users of cybersecurity products, we do have 2 different pricing tiers, which is like freemium and premium. With the freemium one, we want to actually engage the users by giving them credentials, and then to be able to access to the history of their inquiries. And for the premium tiers, which is like the 2 hours of the professional person in cybersecurity, the cost of it, the monthly cost is like 600. And based on premium, we increase our user base to understand the users' needs in the market. And then in the premium tier, we actually generate value, the competitive advantage of our business. We have an experienced team, we have unique market position, AI-driven innovation, and competitive product information. We provide trust and credibility by our credential and by our long-term relationship with both sides of the market, and we have a customer-centric approach. We have done lots of research about the buyer personas from upstream side, Robert is the head of sales for Super Software, or Jessica is the software distributor. So we do have the developers and distributors from upstream. From downstream side, we had some interviews with CTOs and also the low-end users that they use cybersecurity products. And then we do have go-to-market strategy from social media, referrals, SEO, public outreach, and email marketing. And
Hamidjan, you have 1 minute.
Okay, sure. So the finance requirement is like 500K for the MVP phase, which is 9 months. And we do have positive WCF for 15 months. And the ROI, it will be less than 2 years. And then the position that we have in the market, we will be kind of moderator in the cybersecurity market to vertically align the upstream and downstream clients. Thank you for listening to me, and hopefully we can explore some collaboration opportunities together. Thank you.
Thank you, Hamidjan. Thank you. And the second startup is Houmify. Ali is the co-founder and CEO. Will present Houmify. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Ali Abbasi, founder and CEO of Houmify. So we are building Houmify with AI assistant for homeowners for every task related to property-related tasks. So this is a really big market, the homeownership. There are more than 85 million homeowners. There are 5 million transactions for the home every year. They spend a lot of money, and homes definitely are most expensive assets everyone has. The total size of this market, the home service, not the actual home, is about $300 billion every year. And despite all of these numbers, there's no good value service for these homeowners. Why? Let's look at different aspects of the areas that homeowners need service. One is the information. So homeowners need to ask questions and get information. Let's assume you have this type of question. Can I build an ADU in my backyard? No existing service can answer this question. Why? Because this is personalized to you. It depends on your situation, your house, your lot size, your location. And the answer is located where in your Department of Building in your own city. So no existing service can answer this type of questions. This is one of those type of questions. There are many more. Another type of problems that homeowners have is the hiring. As a homeowner, you are spending about 1% of your home value every year for home services, and you pay service providers. Still, it's really hard to find those service providers. We end up going to Craigslist or those type of services. And if I ask question, the result I get is exactly the same result if my mom asks, regardless of the location. This is a big, big problem. And we don't have any solution for this. And usually we end up asking our neighbors who they used 5 years ago to fix their plumbing issue. The third area is missing opportunities. We don't know stuff that we don't know. More than 78% of the homeowners did not refinance their mortgage in 2022, where the rates were pretty low. Why? Because they didn't know. Simple. There are many incentives for homeowners, and no one knows. And still, we are getting too many notifications about a cat in different social medias. But no one notifies us about the missing opportunity related to our house. So these are type of problems that homeowners they have. And what's the solution? The solution that we are building at Houmify is AI agent for homeowners. This is personalized AI agent. And we are working at 3 layers. The first layer is assistant. At assistant level, homeowner can get information, personalized information for their home. They can ask questions. They can ask to hire someone or stuff like that. The second layer is Copilot. At Copilot level, you can delegate the whole task to the system, something like mortgage refinance. And the third layer is the notifier or the suggest. This is the part that system monitors the whole market, knows about the homeowner, and notifies the homeowner stuff that matters to them. They can benefit, or they can prevent from the bad thing that can happen to the homeowner's property. And how the system works? Our system is in three pillars. The first one is the personalization. So we believe every homeowner is different than the other one. If you ask a question, the result it should return to you is different than the other one. Also, when you have multiple properties, when you ask a question about one property, the result is different than the other one. If you have one property in, say, for example, Palo Alto and the other properties in Phoenix, the same type of question has completely different answer. And this is what we understand. And we have laser focus on homeowners. We get to know the requests from the homeowner. We get to know their property, everything that matters to the homeowner. We collect that information. And when we are providing the result and answer to the homeowner, we use that information as a context of the question. The second part is the algorithm. This is the engine that we have the models to provide that type of information that we are providing to the homeowner. And definitely, the data is very important part. Because without the proper data, the answers that we are providing definitely is not good. Garbage in, garbage out. For the data part, we are creating a repository of the real estate data, including the laws, regulations, information about the properties, information about events, everything that matters to the homeowners, and we can collect it. Local, state level, city level, county level, and national level. And when we have all of these questions, we can easily answer the questions that your homeowner can ask. Now we can answer the question, can I build an ADU in my backyard? Yes or no? Why? Because as Houmify, we know the homeowner, we know their preferences, we know their financial information, their schedule as well, their property information. So the easy question, we add the context to that, and we have the information from the market. So I easily can answer the question that homeowner asked. And we also can answer very complicated question. This is something related to our Copilot mode. At Copilot mode, homeowner can ask us to deliver a complete job, something like refinancing the mortgage. Refinancing the mortgage takes a lot of time because the homeowner needs to monitor the market, knows the market, find a lender, negotiate with lender, probably multiple lenders, and get to the conclusion. But when asked the system monitors the market. When everything matches with what their homeowner asked, then takes action, then moves forward. And a little bit about our company. As I said, our customer, the main customer is the homeowner, and we are providing the homeowner service related to everything related to the property. Our revenue model is lead generation and referral. So we calculate this one for every homeowner, their lifetime value for our system is about a homeowner in the California of a house of about $2 million. It's about $38,000 per 25 years. This is a lot of money. The size of the market is pretty big, $300+ billion. Our team are experts in ML, AI, software engineering, and product. We have the MVP, and we are raising capital, definitely. Thank you for listening. Again, my name is Ali Abbasi. You can search and find us on Houmify.com, on LinkedIn, and every other place. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ali John. The third startup is Pocket CM, and Vahid, founder of the Pocket CM, will present.
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Vahid Bizadi, and I'm the founder of Pocket, the AI-powered operating system for care centers. Today, 83 million people in the US are disabled, and there's not any effective way to deliver services to that population in a way that scales. This is a very personal story for me. My family has been serving individuals with developmental disabilities in LA and Orange County for over 25 years. And that includes people with autism and Down syndrome as an example. I worked in the family business doing everything, including providing support in the field as a job coach, as a case manager, overseeing care, and then as a program director running operations for the business. And after I had done what I thought was fair for my family, I decided to take a stab at doing work in technology. And I've had the pleasure of working at great companies like Zapier and Appfolio, which we took public in 2015. I also like the Karate Kid. That's me in the 1980s. And I have the same haircut, as you can see. There's over 1 million people that provide service to individuals with disabilities in the US. 21 million people with developmental disabilities receive a layer of service. For every one of them, there's at least one document that has to be created per day. In fact, there's significantly more than that. To give you a sample size of some of the work that's done, this is just our program, and many of these forms are mandated or required for things like HR in order to provide people their paychecks, right? So it's a very heavy lift. It's very manual, lots of pen and paper, or very outdated systems. And this is a problem for many reasons, including a growth of need and care, the age in the population shifting, clinical resource shortages for staffing across the board, and tools that are ineffective and outdated, especially for the new population of employees that are coming into the market today. To give you a very specific example, we bought this tool for our company, and it was great in 2004, but in 2024, it's very out to date, and they didn't even have a mobile application. In fact, when we did our market research, we took a look at software that's being provided to companies providing support to individuals with disabilities, and of 10 of them, only 3 had a mobile app, and you can see the ratings here, 1.9, 2.6 for the 2 top players in the space. So it's a pretty sad state of affairs for those people who are users of the application. So we decided to come up with a solution, and it's called Pocket. We decided to craft it gracefully and with a focus on a great experience for the user, and try to make something that is as well received by the user as Instagram is, with high usability when they get to do their job, and provide all of the level of services you might find with like a ServiceNow, meeting all of the requirements, enabling it through machine learning, being multilingual and multimodal at the same time, and leading with mobile first. And we differentiate ourselves from electronic health record systems. We are not an EHR. We are a replacement to pen and paper and the manual work in the space, and we will integrate across many different services and provide that data, but be the point of data capture. With that data, we're able to do things like better care planning, leverage predictive models to be able to deliver better outcomes. And where we find ourselves in terms of our market position is here. We would be a replacement to existing legacy systems. We would integrate to modern electronic health record systems and provide and pass information forward, because we are concentrated on that as our core business versus trying to be an EHR system, and provide a work platform for the gig economy for behavioral health that's occurring today. We're not a marketplace, we're a power behind it for the service providers in that space. We took a look at the market from a very straightforward way. We went to the workers' compensation code classifications. We identified 4 areas of care, and we did a bottoms-up market sizing with our price points, and I'll talk about those shortly. We came to a $22.4 billion market in total, of which 2, you can see on the bottom, identify with disabilities in them. So we didn't do a Stanford math, we did a basic math. And we multiplied that across the 115,000 care centers. We think if we get 10% of the market, we should be 4 times a unicorn. And if we're totally wrong with our numbers and only have 25% of the market, 25% of that number, we're still a unicorn. We're getting paid for this with SaaS contracts already. The MVP launched a month ago. We have a SaaS model. The average contract value is between 15 and 35K to date for the pilots. We have a 3-month sales cycle and a month to implement. And then we've got other really great channels for future go-to-market, including companies like EY, which would help us with national and state-level distribution for countries like Malaysia and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and other places that there may be an opportunity for us to be able to deliver technology to provide support and services. And we were very honored to be a part of the Persian Founders Circle, which I have a couple of my fellow mates here as well in the most recent cohort. So capital raise, we've already raised 250K. We've got a safe note at a 10 cap. We're raising a total of $1,750,000 is available and open. It's all go to market and getting to market fast. We've got people that are demanding for this product right now behind the pilots that are there, and we need to be able to service them. We've got a really wonderful team of people, Amber is a clinician. She's served adults with disabilities for over 25 years. I've known her for that long. She's a UCLA grad. We've got great engineers who have been doing every level of AI as you can imagine, machine learning, computer vision, gaming, crypto. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that we've done and we'll look at for various modalities as we go forward, including payments options as well. Great mobile, great design, great product. Just a really wonderful team of people who care deeply about the mission that we're doing, not just for great business outcomes, which certainly can be the case, but also great life outcomes for those that we end up serving. And we've got a wonderful advisory team as well. Ricky's a manager at YouTube, MIT grad. Actually helped him find his first job when he graduated. The chairman of the board of Easter Seals in North Texas. And then Jessica from Calendly. And Tillman, who was the head of AI for Credit Karma. He's sitting in the audience. Please say hi to him later. He's awesome. Pocket, we make tools for people who support the disabled. And we invite you to join us on that mission. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John, for your presentation. And the last startup, but not least, is Site Agent, and Faryar is a co-founder and the CEO. Will present. Here you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Hello everyone, my name is Faryar. We're going to start by a 2-minute video that spares me explaining what the product is, and then we'll follow up with the rest. Oops. So we need the video to play. Thank you. The video was embedded in the, in the PowerPoint, so.
Can you help me find one?
Certainly. Let me check on those red dresses for you. Here are 3 beautiful red dresses that you might like. Would you like more information?
Imagine if your customers could talk to your website using their voice and effortlessly find what they're looking for. This is what you just saw. This is not just an AI chatbot. It's Site Agent, an advanced conversational AI that communicates with your customers in 80 languages. Site Agent learns about your products and identifies what the customer needs. It can also suggest alternatives. Hi, I'm looking for a long red dress for a festival.
Sure. Let me check these red dresses for you. I'm sorry, I couldn't find a long red dress, but what you think about this burgundy color?
Actually, it looked great. Site Agent even knows details about your products that aren't written anywhere. For example, in a shoe store, a shoe might not be described as open toe, but watch this customer interaction. Hi, do you have a pair of red open toe shoes?
Let me check on those red open toe shoes for you. Yes, we have red open toe shoes. For example, the Adria lipstick heel is a stylish handcrafted shoe. We also have the Mira lipstick heel and Yasmin lipstick heels. If you need more information or would like to know how to purchase them, feel free to ask.
Searching for the perfect black bag with a star and a golden chain? On a regular site, you might get lost in a sea of irrelevant results. With Site Agent, it's different. Precise, accurate, effortless. Get exactly what you're looking for, instantly. Hi, I'm looking for a bag that matches a black long dress.
Certainly. Let me check these bags for you. We have a wide range of bags that match black dresses. For example, the Edie Mini crossbody bag with a gold chain would be a great match for a black dress.
It's the ultimate tool for product recommendations. Site Agent AI can coexist with your existing customer service chatbot. Imagine if you had a live person assisting every single customer on your site. That's what Site Agent does.
All right, now we know what Site Agent is. Next slide. All right, the question is why now? Well, two main factors. The first one is macroeconomic trends. After COVID, a lot more shopping is done on e-commerce sites, and people expect a much smoother experience. There are several studies that confirm that 73% of customers give up going back on the same e-commerce site if they cannot efficiently and effortlessly find what they're looking for. And the second is, it's the age of AI. Many of you in the audience probably share the same frustration when you were trying to interact with Siri back in the day. So the first few tries of voice did not really go well, but now with the advancement in AI, we believe, and as of next update in iOS 18.1, you will see that voice interaction is the next mode of interaction with computing devices and generally how you command your instructions to the machines. Market size. Currently, the global e-commerce is a $6.3 trillion industry, which is going to grow by 2030 close to about $10 trillion. Our business model is subscription with additional customization for big e-commerce brands. And our competitive advantage. We have a signed partnership with Shopify. Shopify is one of the largest e-commerce infrastructure providers for about 4.7 million e-commerce sites globally. We have a partnership with them, and through their Shopify App Store, Site Agent, as of day before yesterday, is available to all the 4.7 million e-commerce sites. And the process of integrating Shopify, Site Agent on Shopify, it takes one click of a button from their control panel, and it takes 5 minutes for the AI to scan their website and be operational. How it works is 3 main things. There's a web crawler that goes and scans the website and their inventory and everything and learns about their product. Then there is a vector database that allows for fast retrieval of data. And then this is our basically proprietary architecture of how this works. There are a few fine-tuned and proprietary basically AI models that allow this conversational AI to rapidly, in a matter of milliseconds, locate the product and get back to the customers or make product recommendations. These are some of the upcoming engagement. Notably, Costco is pretty excited about this because they're one of the brands that they have traditionally, historically, a lot of trouble with their e-commerce site because they sell everything and anything. And for them trying to kind of, in any meaningful way, organize their website so that you can find what you're looking for, from a couch to TV to medicine to brand of wine or whatever they sell at the moment, has been pretty daunting and difficult for them. So they're pretty excited with the idea of you can just push a microphone and ask what you want, and you can basically find what you're looking for in a fraction of a time that currently basically their customers spend on Costco's website looking for things. We're raising for expanding on engineering team, go-to-market operation. We need a customer success team and filing lots of patents on our technologies. About our team, before this, I was a head of open source at Tesla. I also happen to be a lawyer, patent attorney to be exact. My co-founder is a PhD in computer vision and is a former university professor. We have a team of 20 engineers. Mostly basically product development and AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Faryar. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite Mr. Saeed Nesbat to come up and start the fireside chat with Dr. Shaigan. Please join me in welcoming Saeed.
Thank you very much. while they're set the set, I would like to remind you once more, I've done this in the past, that you're here to make connections. Don't forget that. You're here to make connections for your career. You're here to make connections for your business. You're here to make connections for the investment. So don't be shy and talk to people, introduce yourself, and be nosy about them, what they do, and what kind of a service or connection they can provide for you. Let's see, let's have a say on this one. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. That's good. The fireside chat part of the program, we are fortunate to have a guest tonight who is a veteran of several industries. He has been, his career has spanned more than 4 decades, 3 decades of which he has been in the C-level, executive level of several different companies. And I'm sure we can learn a lot from him. Dr. Shaigan Kheradpir has a PhD from Cornell in EE. He has worked for GTE, then Verizon. He was the CIO at Barclays, and he was the CEO at Juniper Networks and chair and CEO at Corian. Currently, Mr. Kheradpir is leading the global technology and telecom investments as Cerberus Capital Management, focusing on AI, semiconductors, 5G, aerospace, among other investments, other topics. I'm very, very happy to have him as our guest tonight, and please help me give a warm welcome to Dr. Kheradpir. Shaigan, Dr. Kheradpir, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Usually we would like to start from the beginning. I noticed that you were born in London, of all places, not in Iran. How come you were born over there? Your parents are both Iranian, I assume.
Yes, yes. A good question. Usually when they say, like, you know, where are you from, it's a complicated answer, should be easy. No, my father was doing his residency. He was a surgeon, ear and nose throat surgeon. Was doing his residency in UK, and this is where I was born. So there you go.
And how old were you when you went to Iran?
I was 1 year old.
1 year old.
Yeah, yeah.
So I assume you went to high school and grade school in Iran, or did you go?
Partially, yeah. I was in school in Iran, and then I went to Switzerland for high school, and then United States.
So at some point you decided that you want to become an engineer. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what motivated you, or what circumstances made you become an engineer?
Yeah, that's actually it's an interesting question. When I was in high school, once I went to the library, and back in the old days, they had these tape reels. Remember, you had to like mount the tape reel and turn the projector on. And so I took a tape reel, I put it in the projector, I press go, and it said Richard Feynman lectures at Cornell University. And I was just mesmerized by this whole, it's black and white. And so I said, I want to be an engineer. And back then, there was no internet. It was this, books that you would open, like which college you wanted to go to. And I said, I want to go to Cornell.
Because of Richard Feynman.
Because of
the
Richard
Nobel
Feynman.
Prize winner who was part of the...
Yeah, you should definitely watch his videos. I mean, now they're on YouTube. There's a series of things, Richard Feynman's lectures at Cornell. He was at Cornell before he went to Caltech. And, that's why I said, I want to go there. And, here we go. And I want to be an engineer.
He was one of the characters in the famous movie Oppenheimer, which was broadcasted right now.
Yes, yes.
So we have that in common. We are both fans of Richard Feynman.
Yeah. I must say I'm a fan. I was just mesmerized by his lectures, and it's like, this is what I want to do. So
And that made you go to Cornell.
Yeah.
Any other draw that you had to Cornell? Did you know anyone over there? Why didn't you come to Stanford?
Back then, it wasn't like this. Back then it was like, as I said, there was no internet. You couldn't really search anything. And of course, I'd never been to United States, and you just said, hey, Cornell, and applied, got in, you went, right? You land in JFK, and you take the bus, Greyhound bus to Ithaca, New York, and it was simple. It wasn't this complicated. Now it's
But
like
you
super.
certainly had an acceptance to go to Ithaca. You didn't walk into the acceptance.
No. You apply and get
You apply,
accepted,
okay.
and then off you go. Yeah, it
But
wasn't-
why did you pick Cornell among all these, like RPI, Stanford, MIT?
Yeah, first of all, the smartest ones go to Cornell. So no, it's a very hard school, by the way. Once you're there, it's very rough. I didn't go because it was very rough. It was of Richard Feynman. I did his lectures, and I was mesmerized. And they had, a video of Cornell with the bells going at the beginning of every lecture. And I was like, this is pretty cool. I want to go there. It's very simple. As I said, it's very complicated now with all the things that kids go through. And so back then it was simple.
Another draw for Cornell is, of course, Carl Sagan, the famous astrophysicist.
Yeah, Carl Sagan and many others, yes.
Many others.
Yeah.
Okay, after Cornell, you went to GTE, started your engineering career, and that became Verizon. So at Verizon and GTE, you spent how many years? 14 years, 15 years?
Together, I think 25 years.
25 years,
Yeah.
okay. So you were a technical
23.
guru over there, and I'm sure you made many breakthroughs, judging from the number of patents you got over there. So can you think of the most challenging innovation you led, and how did you manage it, and how did it influence the telecommunication industry, among other things that you did over there? What was the key findings or key breakthrough that you did over there?
When I graduated from Cornell, I could go to Carnegie Mellon. I had an option there to be a professor there. I could go to Bell Labs, and I could go to GT Labs. And of course, we didn't have green cards or anything. We were just students. And so the choice was clear. I didn't want to be an academic. And after 9 years in Ithaca, New York, I didn't want to go to New Jersey. I want to go to Boston. Want to have a life. So that was a simple choice. And when I got there, I was just an individual contributor, and it'd been so many different programs and projects that we just came up with, right? We just basically said. I've always said, I don't care what my job title is. I want to do what I think is interesting and can add value, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is what I think. And so step after step after step at GT and then at Verizon, it was always like this. So many breakthroughs in that company, step by step. Then it was first me, then it was 3 people, then it was 12 people, then it was 20,000 people. More than 20,000 people worked for me when I left. So every step, it was like, I can't even believe that, I was that crazy. I would never do that again if I was like rewinding back. But, you were young, and it's like, why not? Let's go do these things. So was my breakthrough, one after the other, taking stuff on that nobody else would dare to take on. And we didn't really care, what happened, other than make sure it's successful. The biggest program I think I ever took on was when they said, hey, we have to upgrade the Verizon network. We were doing wireless at the time, but they said, this is copper network, this is Alexander Graham Bell's system. Verizon is actually the origin Alexander Graham Bell company. New York Telephone is Verizon. That's the core of Verizon. New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia. And they said, this copper network sort of sucks. And we're getting our house cleaned by the cable companies who had coax, and they had a much better data network than we did. So we decided, look, if we don't leap into a future, now in mind you, this is early 2000s, we're going to lose the whole company. So we basically decided we're going to rip and replace Alexander Graham Bell network. We're going to go all fiber to the home, and all the electronics in the central offices and software and hardware. And it's probably the largest infrastructure project in United States history for a long time. When they first built the telephone network. So they came again to me and said, okay, Shaigan, this is what we want to do. Me and the CEO and the president, the three of us said, we have to do a fiber to the home. People thought you guys are crazy, you guys are nuts. They asked me how many years it will take. I said, I don't know, but 4 years? I just had no idea, like literally no idea. Other than in 4 years, you probably can do anything, right? They said, okay. And then we worked hard to sort of sell the program and make sure we get the funding. And we basically did it in 4 years. We rip and replace the network, replace it fiber to the home. Nobody believed back then, no one. In fact, the analysts were telling me, Shaigan, you're crazy. Who wants, that was the first speeds to the home. 5 megabit down, and crazily 2 megabit up. Who wants that? Nobody's gonna want that. You guys are burning capital and so forth. So in 4 years, 7 by 24, large armies, like tens of thousands of people worked, and we replaced the network. It's called Fios, which we built at the time. Interactive TV, we built hardware, software, the whole 9 yards. And that was I would say the biggest other infrastructure initiative in the United States was probably the first time they built the telephone network. And we sort of finished it in 4 years. A lot of collateral damage, I have to admit, but but we got it done. Now, 20 years later, now everybody's like fiber to the home. AT&T fiber to the home. Everybody's like Comcast fiber to the home. Sort of the career has always been like that, like imagine like what it could be, but you have to be grounded in ones and zeros, and then you go for it. So.
Excellent. So that was the past, and in hindsight, you're looking back and you're saying that you did the right thing, and that was the breakthrough. Now let's change our focus to the future. You're focusing on AI, 5G, and aerospace investment in servers. What do you see as the next big frontier in AI and semiconductor technology, and how will it impact the industries globally?
Yeah, look, again, back to my career, I always was very curious of how things work, right? How does it actually work? And then through that curiosity, you figure out like, okay, this is actually how it actually works. Then it's like, okay, what can I do with it, right?
How could you improve it?
How could you leap, not improve?
Oh, okay.
Improve doesn't
satisfy you.
It doesn't satisfy you, and it doesn't help you grow, and it doesn't help you grow in all sorts of ways, including your career, right? Even though that was never my goal. That was not my career. It was like inquisitive and do big things. In Brooklyn, we have a saying called "Don't give birth to a mouse." Okay. A lot of people, they're satisfied to give birth to a mouse, right? And it's fine. It's just, there's another life, which is do really big things. But doing really big things is hard. And you have to really understand the ones and zeros. So generative AI, when it came on scene, the first day it came on scene, I was like, oh my God, this is another revolution. Just like when I first saw the first browser, when the first 4G and iPhone and first PC. When I've been into 4 tech revolution in my lifetime. And when I saw that day, I was like, this is going to change everything. I've been trying to understand of how this actually works. I mean, I have a math background. I sort of understand the basics. And I can tell you, not that I haven't met anyone that actually knows how it does what it does, okay? And anybody who tells you they know, that's great. I would love to know.
That's one of the weaknesses, yes.
People generally know how, but if you say, okay, exactly how does this work? Why is it that bigger models, like trillion parameter model, works better than 100 billion parameter model?
Or why does it hallucinate?
Yeah. Why does it hallucinate? I generally know how, generally.
Yeah.
because we know, but nobody knows specifically, certainly I don't. But we just know this is like a super powerful thing. And a lot of it is on the shoulder of hardware, the shoulder of hardware. And
NVIDIA.
Shoulder of hardware, NVIDIA and others, yes. It is a fascinating world because it's the first time that people really don't know how it works. It's sort of like magic, right? It's sort of like magic. And it's much of it is on the shoulder of hardware. Yes, there have been breakthroughs in algorithms, and there's trick shot after trick shot after trick shot, but it's really today it's on the shoulder of hardware.
Do you think the power consumption of such a needed system could be a limit for it?
Yeah, I mean, the example I give to my teams is like, I mean, I went and said, okay, well, how much is the power consumption of a Google search?
Yeah.
Okay? And it's about 3.1 trillion Google searches a year. So then you say, okay, all of you guys go to Gemini or ChatGPT, right? A simple query takes 10 times a Google search.
Yes.
A complex query takes 100 times, on average, energy of a Google search, okay? I rewind back to when I started my career, which was actually when I went to Cornell, it was punch cards, and then became IBM 360. I don't know if you guys remembered IBM.
Yeah.
So.
I do.
And then, back in GT and Verizon even, were like, stop people hit the enter key on IBM 360 because it was super expensive. Super expensive. There are reasons for it why it was expensive. So you fast forward now, okay, the training phase is going all gangbusters. You've seen a bunch of companies here today that are training, but you have to put this training into work in inference. Back to hitting the enter key, right? If you do the math, it doesn't work. 3.1 trillion searches, Google search. Imagine in 5 years, there's now 3.1 trillion generative AI complex searches, which is mostly it's going to be complex, not simple. When you do the math on energy consumption, it doesn't work.
Or we warm up the planet and we get hurricanes.
No, it can't. Like today, if you want to go and find, let's say, a 40 megawatt data center, which is like a basic starter. By the way, at Verizon, I built a lot of data centers. My biggest one was 5 megawatts. Now you start at 40 megawatts because of this issue, and they go to a gigawatt and above.
Yes.
Right? Today, you want to go and start at 40 megawatt, which is a starter. Takes you 4 or 5 years to find one. Power is not there. If the power is there, the transmission isn't there. Transmission isn't there. You don't have generators. Generator takes 5 years to order. And then the power consumption, when you do the math at that scale of people around the planet hitting the enter key, at will, the power and the costs are out of this world. I don't think we have enough power and enough money. So this problem needs to be solved. People are not switched on to it because we're still in the training phase. The inference really hasn't really started in a big way. And then much of it is on hardware. And when you go on hardware, it's like, okay, you've got the accelerator. There's one issue there. Increasingly, the problem is on interconnect.
Yeah.
That's where the bottleneck is. So anyway, you just drill down the stack, and it's just an ocean of super interesting problems. A lot of money to be made. Anyway, it's again interesting, very interesting. Yeah.
Let's focus on the telecommunication industry, on which you have a lot of expertise. Where do you think the industry is heading in the next 5 to 10 years, especially with the integration of 5G and IoT and edge computing?
Yeah, the rule in telecom has always been that whatever you think people are going to consume, they're going to consume much more than that. And at any point, we sit there and say, okay, well, what are they going to consume it on? We have no idea. It's just we know that they're going to consume a lot more, and they're going to be new applications. So you've got 5G right now. The next step of 5G is very interesting because the current 5G is basically 4G, just higher speed. It's called 5G non-standalone. The brain is 4G, but the actual interface is 5G. The next version that's going to be rolling out in a year or so, it's called 5G standalone, which means the brain is 5G. Now, why is that important? It's because that's where you go from communications to command and control, right? This is when you're going to get deterministic latencies. You can manage a lot more things. Like in a square mile, you can have like, I don't know, 1 million endpoints where you can't have today.
So that happens because of edge computing, because?
No, it's in the 5G protocol. It's called 5G standalone, which is their focus is command and control of everything electronics on the edge. And of course, then you got to feed it back to edge computes and all this other AI stuff, and God knows what's going to happen. Yeah.
Let's go back to AI. AI is transforming many sectors, from finance to healthcare. In your opinion, what are the biggest challenges that companies face? The companies actually in integrating AI effectively into their business strategy.
Yeah. So I had this question. I mean, even though I'm a child of that world, right? A big enterprise world. I invited 40 C-levels in New York City from the top Fortune 50, Fortune 100, across different sectors. Healthcare, financial services, of course, is New York City, technology, telecom, and we had a round table for 4 hours over dinner, just asking around like, what do you do? What do you do, Dr. Tapish? What do you do? What do you think? And I know most of these people. It's the first time in 40 years that I've seen corporate America completely flat-footed on a revolution in technology, of really getting going with implementation, compared to like hyperscalers, like Google and Microsoft and OpenAI. I mean, they're going to the moon. The rest of the folks are flat-footed on the ground. And these people have money, they're very smart, they're very capable, so the question is why? And I think the answer is, at least in that room, the answer that I could gather is, A, people really don't know how this works. And corporate America is used to deterministic transaction processing. So basically, it's based on there are deterministic workflows, there are deterministic transactions. I know what the code is doing, okay? With generative AI, they don't have that comfort. They don't know how it does what it does. The terms, hallucination, guardrails, what I want to use, they haven't figured that out to be able to deploy it at mass scale in a safe way. So what happens, people are like, hey, let's slow down. Let's figure out how this actually works, because I don't want to have my customers to be talking to somebody and I don't know what they're going to say, right? Like all this AI agents and all that. So that has pulled the brake, and of course there's lawyers, there are regulations, and so forth and so on. So that has really slowed things down in corporate America of actual deployments. The second problem is the power problem. None of these people have 40 megawatt data centers. Their budgets, the biggest ones, their budgets for hardware is maybe a few $100 million, right? And it's a drop of what's required for them to deploy. So the deployment is very expensive. The data centers cannot be retrofitted. It costs too much. There's 1,000 reasons for it. So they have to figure out where I'm going to run these things. So then, okay, you can put it at GCP, you can put it at Azure, you can put it at AWS, but there are problems there too. There's regulation problems, right? So if you got my medical health records, will they allow for my medical records to put in the cloud? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. There are ways to skin this cat. It's complicated. And then there is the inference problem. Like, do I want to open this up? Like Verizon has well over 100 million customers. Press the enter key, boom, boom, boom. The cost of running these things. So it's very complicated deployments. And this is why, and I would say on the government side, they're probably even more behind. I'm just guessing, right? Nonetheless, this is the most revolutionary technology I've seen in 40 years, and we've seen a lot, right?
Yes.
We saw the transistor.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the first computers. We saw the
internet.
First PCs.
Yes.
When I was at Cornell, there's a course called supercomputer. It's a junior course. It's like the toughest course I've ever. Nobody, unless you have last year's notebooks, it's just you're not going to pass. It's super hard. So everyone was depressed. They do a raffle. I won the raffle, and this was 1981. And I said, "What did I win?" They said, "This is what you won." It was one of the first IBM PCs. Right? I came to college. I thought it was cool. I had a calculator. They showed me the punch cards. So we're doing punch cards. Then the next thing, a couple of years later, there's this thing in front of me called a PC. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Right? I'm just looking at it. What am I supposed to do with this? And then I sort of figured that what it was really good for was I could have taken it to my dorm, connected to this thing called the modem, going at 300 baud, which is roughly 300 bits per second. I didn't have to submit my jobs to the central computer, walk, in snow in Ithaca, New York, with a bunch of. So I would just sit in my dorm and do my work. But my point is, so what's the point? We have seen revolution after revolution. At Cornell, I got a PC. What am I supposed to do with this? I thought it was I used it as a terminal, remote terminal into the central computing system at 300 bits per second. 300 bits per second. At Verizon, we built like 1 gigabits per second. Did you do the math? You go, in my lifetime, from my college to you go from 300 bits to 1 gigabit. And now it's in our pocket. We run around like with 5G. So we've seen a lot. We've seen, then you said, the first browser and the PC, and then the cloud computing and the mobile internet, and now this thing. This thing turns every 15 years like clockwork. Like clockwork, these things take 15-year launch and something else happens. And now we're at that something else. Every step has been bigger than the step before in terms of impact on the economy and the social well-being of people. This is the biggest one of them all. This is bigger than mobile internet. This is bigger than the internet. This is bigger than the PC. It's sort of mucking with our brains and our thoughts. So it's a super fascinating, and 5 years from now, we will be living in a different world. 10 years from now, you wouldn't recognize this world, in every sector. But there are problems, as I said, in terms of how does this thing actually work? How do I make sure it sort of really works with proper guardrails and no hallucination? How can I deploy this at scale? These are all like oceans of opportunity. It's going to be very exciting for all of you who are much younger. Yeah.
You touched upon one of the weaknesses, the privacy issue. And given your leadership roles at companies like Juniper Networks, how do you view the evolving cybersecurity landscape, and what steps should companies take to stay ahead of emerging threats?
Well, cyber is changing rapidly again because of generative AI. So now you have to defend against generative AI.
All come back to the same issue of AI being complicated.
Yeah, so it's the old cyber, of course, is still very important, but I think the new threats are going to be all around, including things like massive deep fakes And
Yes.
you know, how are they going to? I know of companies who, you know, somebody calls and it looks like Dr. Tabesh and speaks like Dr. Tabesh and say, hey, you know, transfer some, you know, this from here to here, and you know, people say, okay, it's Dr. Tabesh, so I'm doing it, right? So how are you going to defend against that, right? So I think that the threat vector, the threat surface, is going to be massively opened up because of AI.
Yeah. I think there's going to be an assault on the truth with capital T. We would not know what it is. My last question, and I hope after that we open it to your questions, so get prepared. For young professionals, young technology professionals looking to lead in the future, what qualities and skills do you believe will be critical for success in the next decade of technological advancements?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it depends. There's no formula. Every person is different.
What do you suggest?
You know, I have been now on 1, 2, 3, 4 very different industries. I have managed myself as an individual contributor. At Barclays, I had 85,000 people. 85,000 people. When I replay back, if you're managing 2 or 85,000, the fundamentals, at least for me, it's been the same. And it's about being very inquisitive, reimagining how things could be. And it's a lot easier if you're a startup. There's many things that's harder in startup, but in this one it's easier. But trying to do this in a big corporate America is not easy. Reimagine how things could be, attract people as your cohorts to try to make it much better than it is now, right? And not be fearful. You know, Rumi Molavi has this poem. It's, you know, my entire career I think is in this poem. And every time I didn't listen to this, I got suffered. I got penalized. It goes, and maybe this is when we start. It goes, keep walking. Keep walking. Though there is no place to get to. Don't try to look into the distances. That's not for human beings. Move within, but not the way fear makes you move.
Not the way?
Not the way fear makes you move.
Makes you.
It is so profound. And if I sort of rewind back to my own career, it was pretty much this. And anytime I made a decision based on fear, I screwed up. Anytime you try to say, okay, where's the world's going to go exactly, and I'm going to plan it out, I'm going to plan my career, I'm going to plan this out, it doesn't work. You know, that's not for human beings. And really the joy of this thing is joy of learning and joy of journey and being with people you like, and the rest will take care of itself. So that's what I would say. Don't be, you know, this is my own history. Never feared, mostly never feared. Whenever I did fear, I made the wrong decisions because you make it based on fear, right? As opposed to really moving within what you think is right. So that's sort of the history, if that's helpful.
On that holistic and warm and very encouraging remark of you, we would like to thank you for your time over here, and we will open the floor for questions after we give you a big applause. So we have time for maybe a couple of questions. Raise your hands. Gentleman over here, please. Well, I know Reza, but please state your name and your affiliation, Reza Jan.
Hello, my name is Reza Muqtadari. I am a CEO of an AI calling company called Fonello. My question is, you mentioned this lack of enough power to use AI at the scale that we currently use existing technologies, but you also mentioned that in 5 years, we're not going to recognize the world as it is this way. So how do you rectify this difference? Are we going to solve the power issue? Or if you could elaborate more on what exactly do you envision is going to change with the economy or AI in 5 years or 10 years? Thanks.
Yeah, there are a lot of people are working on the power issue. A lot of people are working on the power issue, right? To bend the power curves of these systems, as innovations happening everywhere, right? In the data centers, cooling, how you cool these chips, how you reduce the power, interconnects, it's just like the whole thing. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm just saying I see a lot of activity, and in my history, there's very smart engineers. They're going to break through, and they're going to break through. And this thing is so important. I mean, forget about all administrative shit, right, that people are doing, right? I'm automating this, that, the other. Think about cancer drugs, right? If we can crack cancer, right, through, this thing that we now call generative AI, are we going to have, because I can't get enough power, stop us? We shouldn't, right? It's not. So I think there are things that are going to happen here that we cannot possibly imagine at this time. But if you look at the ones and zero of this thing, the power is a big issue, but I'm confident that the engineers will break through, and we're going to get there. That has been the history.
We have a question over here, and then the gentleman over there, or maybe a lady. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. I couldn't see that far. So the question over here.
This is Mahdia. Thank you so much. One of the areas that you talk about is...
Mahdia, where do you work? What's your affiliation?
I'm actually working at the startup right now. I was a part of Google Energy team, so that's related to the energy and power. We work with a lot of data centers or DCs. So what is your thought around the data center in space, which the idea is actually getting more popular these days because of your energy consumption?
Well, can you repeat the question?
I didn't get the question. Can you say the
centers
question a little bit slower?
The data centers in space because of the solar energy and also the cooling, the space in the space.
Yeah, it's interesting. Actually, one of the people that works with me, I'm very lucky where I work, Service Capitalist, like a kid in the candy store with luminaries. One of the luminaries, his name is Dan Golden, who was the longest serving head of NASA, right? He reported to 3 presidents and a super techie. And a few years ago we had this debate, and it's just it's not in our lifetime, and then it's not a realistic thing. I mean, as it is, the satellites, maybe as digression, one of the biggest issues in the current satellites is power, right? Because they're very limited in power. They have to use it very judiciously for navigation and not processing of lots of stuff like imagery and all that. So no, it's it is maybe the next Elon Musk that comes will crack that at some point, after at least I'm gone. Yeah.
The last question goes to the lady over there.
Hi, I'm Nancy Tobisman from Bay Area Immigration Services and a nonprofit, Global Women Power. So we help do work visas and I-9 verifications and all kinds of things, recruiting. My question is more like the entertainer's delight. I love Avatar, Star Trek. I love science fiction. And my question is, how is it that science fiction Hollywood knows inventions that are coming before we do? Are you guys learning from their ideas, or are they picking up on your ideas and there's some kind of a exchange going on? It's predicting the future.
No, it's a very astute observation. Actually, I grew up with Star Trek. I mean, when I was a kid, I grew up with Star Trek, and when we were kids, we were watching Star Trek. We're like, this stuff will never happen, right? For me to have something in my ear and talking to you, never is going to happen. And so pretty much everything Star Trek imagined way back when, right? When was Star Trek? I think it was done in 1960s. Yeah.
Late 60s.
Yeah, late 60s. Yeah. Pretty much everything has happened. I mean, except teleportation, and even that, I think, is we're starting to, make some strides there. So I think what it is, I have a good friend who's a Hollywood mogul, Mark Amin. You can Google him. What I've noticed is some of the smartest people in this nation are in Hollywood. Some of the smartest people in this nation are in Hollywood. And, they have access to a lot of things, and they have great imagination, and, they have access to Silicon Valley, they have access to, DARPA and Stanford and all these places. And they match their imagination to what they think the art of the possible could be. And, Star Trek is poster child, right? Pretty much everything Star Trek that we thought was just magic at the time has come true, right? Has come true. So yeah, don't take Hollywood, lightly. It's not all frivolous stuff. So yeah.
Dr. Shaigan Kheradpir, on behalf of Plug and Play, the Amidi Group, the Persian Tech Network, and the Iranian community, I would like to thank you for making the time to come here and enlightening us with your experience and your vision of the future.
My pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Well, the rest of the program is networking. Dr. Kheradpir is going to be over here answering some of your questions if you wish. Otherwise, do follow my advice and make connections for your business, for your career, and for yourself. Thank you very much. Have a good time.